Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be talking about the top 10 characters that you should be pulling for, in my opinion. This video is going to be very opinionated. So of course, there are going to be people who are going to disagree with my top 10 characters that players should be pulling for in the coming future. Now, of course, for any other JP players that do watch my content, feel free to state your opinions as well, especially if you have been playing JP for quite a while now and you have experienced a lot of the characters that we are going to be going over in this video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would also jump in and give your input on either some of the choices that I made, or if not, some of the characters that you feel like would be like in your top 10 as well. So and again, this is gonna be super opinionated. This is gonna be my opinions just based on my experience using these characters, how I feel like they will stand in the game, and how viable they are going to be, because each of these characters, which by the way, they are not going to be in order. So all of these characters that I am going to be talking about, they do have their purposes. They are different type of characters. They do deal different things, and that's one thing that I want to make sure that that players understand, is that like, this is not me picking favorites or anything. This is just me picking these characters because they have been helpful in certain Shinryu fights, or they are great to have in your party, so on and so forth. Like, there's many reasons to it, but really at the end of the day, all of these top 10 characters that I'm going to be talking about briefly in this video, because if not, we'll be here for hours if I go super in depth on them, are basically characters that I myself see myself pulling for, again, on the global side, and I feel like global players should really consider the top 10 characters that I have chosen. And again, the list is not in order. This is just kind of going off of the visual forecast that I found online. I will also add in, because of the fact that there are so many good characters right now in JP, I am also going to add in some honorable mentions. So basically my top 11 through 20. I will not go in depth on, or not really in depth, but I will not be talking about them too hard like I will be my top 10, but I wanted to add them in here so that way people also know, in case they were wondering if maybe they didn't see the character that they were considered pulling for, maybe they are in that top 11 through 20 list that I created. So, and if you want me to talk about those specific characters, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. If I get enough comments, I will go ahead and do a video on those characters as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helps out anybody who is trying to plan for the future. Now that global is in the era where events are going to be spaced out, every character is going to be getting a BT and an FR. I know that players are probably going to be looking for some type of guide to help them in deciding which characters should they pull for, which characters will help them in clearing content. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the first three characters, which is going to be Rubicante, Aerith, and Quina. Now, and apologies if I don't say Quina, Quina, how the hell you say the name. So anyways, let's start off with Rubicante. So the biggest thing about Rubicante is that he is a counter tank. He is able to charge up the force gauge. He is able to heal as well. His BT makes it so that he is able to counter twice. The other good thing about his kit is going to be with his FR, because his FR, while it is active, it has actually a built-in turn rate down by 50%, which is actually pretty nice and really good for a counter tank. It also increases the brave damage and HP damage that Rubicante is going to be getting. And the nice thing about it is that while the FR is active, it does heal his HP back to 50% when dropping below. So it is a pretty convenient FR to have. And then of course, when it comes to the FR conditions, a lot of it is going to be him countering A lot of it is going to be whenever he receives 0 brave or HP damage. Basically, like the off-turn setup when it comes to a tank, Rubicante is definitely going to be a man. There have been many solo runs that Rubicante has done. In my opinion, he is still very much viable in current JP right now. He can easily be paired up within certain team comms. Like like Rubicante doesn't have to be just straight soloing content all the entire time. There will be times where you are going to need a tank within your team, and Rubicante is a very excellent choice to really consider pulling for. I know a lot of global players have already pretty much like told me in the comments of my videos that you're going to be pulling for Rubicante, and he is a very strong investment. He is definitely worth your resources. Do not hold back, or do not decide to not pull for Rubicante unless you just don't want that strong of a tank. Then that's totally up to you, but in my opinion, Rubicante is a must-have in my opinion. Now, Aerith is the next character in my top 10. So Aerith, she's going to be getting a BT and her FR Echo later down the line, and Aerith becomes extremely good. 1, she is an FR charger. 2, she prevents the enemies from granting themselves any buffs with that debuff from her LD ability. 3, her FR Echo is instant turn ray, which is going to help out to increase the HP damage bonus very quickly. And on certain FR abilities, or certain FR abilities of other characters, she can actually help in increasing it a very good amount. The other thing is going to be with her BT effect. Her BT effect has no turns at all. Like literally there is not a turn number at all on the BT effect. The only time that the BT effect will dispel is if anybody on the team falls below 50% of their max HP, or if they get KO'd, then she will revive everybody. She will heal the party, and the healing can exceed the maximum HP of said character, and that's when the BT effect goes away. The other thing that I do want to mention is that she does get an overhead. Now this overhead, it can be affected by the force of the HP damage bonus, so it does scale with the whatever force that is active. The way to increase it is to pretty much heal. Even if it's just like regular healing, like whenever it's your teammate's turn, or if Aerith is going to be spamming her skill 1 so that way she can get the maximum capped value on her overhead, with it scaling with the FR, it can definitely deal some damage. The follow-up does trigger after it reaches level 3, and it does increase by 1 level after the turn holder's action. So it'll trigger after any party member's turn. The other final thing about her BT effect is that it does grant her a gold frame buff. Now this buff right here, it is very short, and the I guess you could say like a small little con to it is that unless you have used a Force Echo before you activate her BT effect, with that buff only lasting for 4 turns, that buff does provide a 100% party HP damage resist up and brave resist up. So yeah, literally nobody cannot take any damage whatsoever while that buff is active. So in my opinion, Aerith, for what she does overall, is a fantastic character, especially once she gets a BT. She becomes so much better. She is definitely a character that I know a lot of players are going to be pulling for, and in my opinion, she is definitely worth your resources for what she offers within her kit, and she offers a whole lot more once she gets her BT effect. She is definitely a character to really consider chasing for. The next character we're going to be talking about is Quina. Now, Quina is more than likely going to be another must pull for a lot of players for a big reason. So her BT effect is short at only 5 turns, and there's a really good reason for that. It is because Quina provides the party, whenever they deal HP attacks, they are going to deal the maximum HP damage cap damage that it could possibly deal, which is pretty broken. But do note, and this is something that I don't know if everybody has noticed or not, but when it comes to having Quina's BT effect active, you need to make sure that you have yourself a value number on your brave. It doesn't matter if you have 0 brave. As long as you have 0 brave or higher, you will be dealing max HP damage, cap damage. If you are broken, that the BT effect will actually not work for you. Now, I do not know if it was a bug, but I noticed it one time when I was recording a gameplay using Quina, and it actually did not work, and I was very confused. And that's when I noticed that when I was at 0 brave is when I was able to deal max HP damage, cap damage. So please remember that, and I will be mentioning that whenever I do my should you pull video on Quina. But Quina is like, that's like the biggest reasons why players are going to be pulling for Quina, is because of that disgusting BT effect. Yes, it is short, but as you can see, that's the reason why, because it literally makes your, like, any character look like they are like the best at they could ever be. Like, they just went Super Saiyan. All right, so yeah, it's a very broken BT effect. Quina also inflicts a trap, and that trap does deal a very good amount of damage, and it does trigger before the start of the enemy's turn. So it is a really good trap overall. Quina does also have an overhead and that overhead just basically makes it so that for Quina, while it's at 10 stacks, which is the maximum stacks, it'll be dealing capped brave damage during brave damage during a brave attack. And it also provides the party with some like party ores, but for Quina, it's going to be that's just going to be for her, and that's it. So overall, a character that a lot of players are going to be pulling for, and if you want to make any character look good and make them deal the maximum damage that you could potentially get out of them, then this is a character that you definitely want to have in your arsenal of roster of characters. Next up, we'll talk about Rem, Aerith, and Setzer. Now, with Rem has a very strong BT effect. With Rem, basically what it does is that it does provide the party with immortality, so nobody will be able to die. It also provides other party ores as well, like Brave damage up, HP damage up, Brave gains up, so on and so forth. It does convert 100% of excess HP heals to Brave, and after every HP attack, it increases the Brave by 50% of the holder's max Brave. So that is a very good amount of Brave that you can actually get in between attacks. Also, the other thing that I do want to note with Rem is going to be that after her own turn, she actually makes it so that everybody's EX ability is ready to go. It is at 100% max, and you are able to use your EX ability right there and then. So it is a really good BT effect for Rem. And not only that, Rem is also a healer, turn manipulator. She does have a follow-up as well, and like with a good consistent amount of Brave battery within her skills, and she's an FR charger as well. I mean, she's a really solid character, really strong support character, and it's one to actually really do consider, especially because of the fact that she provides everybody with immortality, so you cannot go down whatsoever. So Rem, for what she does overall, and then what she actually gains with her FR and her BT, she is a very excellent choice, and a character to really consider pulling for. Next up, we're going to talk about Aerith. Now, Aerith, in my opinion, is very broken for a few reasons. So the first thing is going to be her BT effect. Her BT effect, aside from the party ores, which is only 3 things that she provides to the party, she affects the enemies in such a negative way, it's disgusting. So basically, it makes it so that all enemies' attack stat, defense stat, and max brave stat go to 0. So that basically means that you don't have to worry about anything when it comes to them attacking you. Like if you want to check out my latest gameplay from the latest 6 warrior quest that we had in JP, I did use Aerith, and there were moments where, like, even though like they were gonna be attacking me and I knew that it was gonna be HP damage, they were literally dealing 0. So Aerith is very, very good to have to be able to mitigate the stats of the enemies. Now, the other thing that I do want to talk about, aside from her, she does have a little bit of turn manipulation. She is also able to heal and charge up the gauge as well. But the other thing is going to be her EX ability. This is by far the most broken EX ability that we have in the game so far. So basically what this does is that she selects the character, and that character, so take example, if let's say we have Astos, right? Astos decides to deal 50 mil HP. Well, guess what? Aerith's EX ability literally copies that damage and adds a little bit more to it. It is disgusting. Yes, and the thing is though, like if you like say for example you give her the Luna Freya LD call, she can literally do it over and over and over again, and it is such easy damage that it is insane. Another thing to note about it is that let's say by chance your force gauge goes away, right, and the last character did the damage with the 999% force active, right? Well, guess what? Even if the force is gone, she will still copy whatever damage it is that they dealt on that last turn of that force gauge being active. So it does not matter. Like, it's that stupid busted that Aerith is another character that I would personally recommend, actually not even recommend, that you should pull for, because like she has a very broken mechanic within her EX ability and a very strong BT effect to really consider chasing for. Next up is Setzer. Now, some of you guys may be questioning as to why he is in my top 10, and I have a very good reason why. Because Setzer, within his BT effect, is extremely, or like pretty much like on point with what Quina does with her BT effect, making it so that you are going to deal max HP damage during the attack. But the thing is though, with Setzer, because of the type of character that he is, you actually have a 70% chance to deal the maximum HP damage possible that a character is able to deal. But and so because of that, you may be questioning as to why is it that you want to play with RNG and you would rather use Quina over Setzer. Well, here's the thing though. First off, his BT effect is randomized, so you can go from as low as 6 turns with his BT effect up to 12 turns with his BT effect. The other thing is going to be, the reason why I put him in top 10 is because there are going to be a lot of fights after Setzer where you are going to deal with a lot of dumb boss mechanics where you're not going to be dealing any brave unless you're going to be using a featured synergy character or the featured character for said event to disable the force. Then Setzer is a really strong top tier choice to bring in because of the fact that with his LD ability, he does allow you to deal, you have a chance to deal capped brave damage alongside with the capped HP damage. And yes, you do have the percentage that you have to deal with, but depending on the character that you got going on, if they deal multiple brave hits, multiple HP attacks, I mean, the chances are that you are going to deal capped either brave or HP damage at some point. And with my usage of Setzer in the so many fights that I have taken him, he has been so freaking good to have on my team that I love him. He's like that good of a character to have on your team to make sure that if you run into that situation where you are unable to deal strong brave damage, or the enemy hits you with them building up a huge amount of brave and they're about to attack you, then having his LD and his BT effect active comes in handy so much. It's not even funny. Like, he is such a huge convenience to have on team comps, that he is a character that I am going to push for a lot of players to pull for, regardless if they have Quina, because of the fact that he is able to provide, even though it is a little bit of RNG, but it's a 70% chance. So you are more than likely going to hit the HP damage cap. But like, he just comes in handy so much that he is a character that I feel like he is also going to be good to have. Next up is going to be Astos, Weiss, and Aranea. Now, Astos is by far the most busted DPS character we have in the game currently, and I really, to this day, I still don't understand why they released such an extremely busted character like Astos. Like, I try not to use him because he is literally my cheat code in JP, because he is that freaking good. He is the best DPS character that we currently have in JP, for very good reasons. So when it comes to his kit overall, basically like how his kit works is that he has an overhead, and with that overhead, what that actually provides is basically it stores a value based on the brave damage dealt, which is capped at his HP damage cap, his max brave, right? And then the only way for him to actually lose that is if he gets broken. If he gets broken, then the value gets reduced by 50%. But the thing is though, is that Astos only has 3 abilities that he is able to deal brave damage: his LD, his FR, and then his BT. So his EX, his skill 1 and skill 2, they are going to deal damage based on the damage on his overhead. So when we take a look at his skills, his skill 1 deals 10 HP attacks. Can you imagine if you have not seen any gameplay, I would recommend you check out gameplay. So can you imagine him being at 999% for however many turns you have on the force and dealing 10 HP attacks on the target that you are dealing? That is disgusting. His skill 2 is AoE and it deals 5 HP attacks. His EX is also is a single target with splash that deals 9 HP attacks. So yeah, Astos is by far and still continues to be the most broken BT character, or not BT character in general that we have in the game. Now his BT effect makes it so that the stored value within his overhead actually goes beyond his max brave. So do I need to say any more? Yes, he is by far the most broken character that we have DPS wise in the game, and he is a character that I had to include in my top 10 because like he is that freaking broken. Next up, we're gonna take a look at Weiss, who is by far the strongest preemptive attacker and follow-up attacker that we have in the game. Now his follow-ups are only triggered after his own action, but the preemptive attacks, they are triggered every time it is your teammate's turn. So before your teammate even acts, he is going to attack with his follow-up. So you are going to be seeing a spam of preemptive attacks from Weiss, and then you're gonna be seeing his follow-up attacks from his own actions like crazy. Like when it comes to like dealing additional damage overall throughout the entire team, Weiss is a top tier character to really consider for when pulling for his kit. The other thing is going to be within his BT effect. So within his BT effect, he makes it so that whenever your teammates are dealing HP damage cap damage, they are going to deal additional fixed HP damage, get this, by 10% of the HP damage dealt, not by the current HP damage cap that you have going on with that specific character, meaning that as the force gauge increases, as the HP damage percentage increases, that number is going to go higher and higher. It doesn't technically scale with the FR, but because of the fact that you are dealing higher and higher HP damage, that fixed HP damage is going to scale as you are dealing higher amounts of HP damage. So it is a really good BT effect, because not only do you have his preemptive attacks, his own follow-up attacks, he also makes it so that you can deal additional HP damage. So like, he is not only a strong utility type character, but he is also a very strong damage dealer. And then finally, aside from the other party auras that we normally see nowadays with BT characters, he also makes it so that the party cannot get debuffed, including the cannot miss debuffs. So yeah, a very, very strong BT effect to have. Very strong character overall to really consider pulling for, and I would highly recommend him. He is so much fun to have, to use, so good to have in party comps, that he is what he does really excelled. Like, it really just blew me away with what he actually with how he actually performs. Next up we have Aranea. Now Aranea, my god, the rework that they gave her, the damage output that she does now, it is freaking insane. Her BT effect basically makes it so that she deals damage while you are in the air, and it is for Aranea herself. So basically, that BT effect, whenever it is her turn, she will launch the enemy, and with that she also triggers a follow-up air attack which deals 7 HP dumps in total. It is a disgusting BT effect, and it on top of like the rework that she actually did receive and the follow-up air attack that she now deals, it is by far some of the most crazy damage output that you can possibly see out of a character. And the thing is though, like, I do feel like Aranea is a little bit more easier to use than it would be with Sid Reigns. Sid Reigns' BT effect is only 6 turns. Aranea's is at 10 turns, but I see the reason why they gave that to her. It is because whenever she breaks an enemy, she does technically get a free turn. With Sid Reigns, that's not the case. Sid Reigns is a turn manipulator, so on and so forth, right? So they do have their differences. Their follow-up air attacks, they both deal 7 HP attacks in total, but again, they both have their differences. But like, when it comes to damage output, while Aranea is on the ground, like, she deals a very strong amount of damage, and my god, it is fantastic. If you want yourself a strong damage dealer that is able to break the targets, or not break the targets, but like re-break the targets while they're broken, able to delay and just deal some insane damage output, Aranea is a excellent choice to really consider picking up. I am going to be pulling for her again on Global, because she is just whew. Plus it's Aranea. I mean, like, what else do I have to what else do I have to say? It's Aranea for reasons. And finally, we do have Noel, who recently got himself a rework and his brand new FR. Now, his overall rework just made him so much better after, like, it feels like years that he has not been touched whatsoever. They finally made him so viable that it is like nutty, and it is so freaking good that I can appreciate it. Like, they made sure that he deals damage, and he deals damage the right way, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the fact that Square went all out with Noel. But the biggest thing about him, aside from his rework, his BT rework, is going to be that FR, because that FR is probably one of the most nastiest FRs ever. So basically, what this FR does, and the FR conditions are super easy to meet, thankfully, is that for the party, they are able to cancel the target's break before attack. And while you do that, while you are inflicting or attacking an enemy inflicted with break, they also do receive a HP damage up and HP damage cap up by 50%. So yeah, imagine the enemies having turns while Noel's FR is active. The only thing that would actually counter Noel's FR effect is going to be if the enemies cannot get broken, or if they do get broken, they cannot get pushed back. That is the only time where Noel will suffer a little bit, mainly his FR. But you can still spam FR Echo depending on which force ability you have active. But like, Overall though, the rework that he got, his damage output is so much better, and I can really appreciate it. His BT effect made it so that he now has constant use of his BT effect. So yeah, he can spam his BT effect like a madman, and he's going to be dealing damage overall. His follow-up got reworked. Noel is a character with his FR especially to really consider pulling for, because like you can do some crazy shenanigans, and the fact that you're not letting the enemies turn unless of course, you know, they can't get broken, they can't get pushed back, or all of a sudden they jump in a turn order, then he is a character to really consider pulling for. So that was my top 10 characters that I think global players should really pull for whenever their banners do drop. Now, I am going to talk about my honorable mentions. I'm not gonna be going as brief, not really brief, but I'm not going to be talking about them like I did with my top 10 characters. And again, if you want me to talk about these characters, I have no issue talking about them, but please do let me know down in the comment section below. If I see a good amount of comments, if I see a good amount of like support on this video, so on and so forth, then I have no reason to not do the top 11 through 20. But again, these are not in order, but the honorable mentions are going to be Noctis, Kurosame, Pain, General Leo, Reno, Christus, Core, Lena, Dorgon, and Beatrix. All of these 10 characters right here are very good characters. All of them deal different things, and all of them do it extremely well. And again, if you want me to talk about them, just let me know. Hit that like button as much as you can to push this video, of course, into the algorithm. You guys already know that everything that I do does help me out and the family as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I'm really curious to see what everybody's going to think about my top 10 characters that global players should really be pulling for whenever their banners do drop. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.